Hey mama, so last week we totally dug into this mom guilt concept around wondering if we are doing a good job as working moms. And I hope that last week helped you feel equipped to know that you are amazing. And there's always a little room to do a little bit better, right? But being equipped with where you are at is the starting point. And I think the number one thing we identified last week is that we just want to make sure as moms that these beautiful little blessings of ours know they are loved, they are seen, and that they are heard and that they matter to us. And if we are doing that, we are doing great. So in today's episode, we are going to walk through easy, simple, fun, tactical ways that you can implement into your daily life to make sure that your kiddos know this. They know that they are loved, seen, and heard, and that they matter. And no, this is not going to take hours a day. Some of these really easy, simple, tactical tips are 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, at a time. And it really matters that we set our phones down, we stop working for just a few minutes, and we intentionally show our children that they are number one inside of our hearts. So I hope this helps you feel confident that you are doing the most you possibly can for your little ones. Let's dig in. Welcome to the More to Motherhood podcast. If you have a calling on your heart to play bigger, to impact more people with your business, mission, or the team that you've created, but you can't seem to get there, then this is the perfect podcast for you. Together, we will rise by smashing the glass ceilings and stepping into our greatest potential. Hi, I'm Kristen, busy wife and mama of 3, top 1% network marketer, and your new sassy best friend. I believe that as a busy mom boss, you have what it takes inside of you to be an incredible mom and an empowered businesswoman. If you're ready to do the work, I'm ready to be your BFF and mentor you on this journey to help you create your 6-figure side hustle and beyond. It's time to uncover the more inside of your motherhood. Let's do this. Okay, mamas, so just saying, you want to join the More to Motherhood community, y'all. This community is the best, most amazing group of mamas, in my personal opinion, who are doing this life, working their business, and they get you. Join this amazing community and let's do this life and biz together. What do you say? We're going to be talking about this topic of mom guilt and brainstorming ideas of how we can show our kids that they are loved, seen, and heard this week. So come on in, join the supportive community of like-minded mamas. What do you say? Are you in? Join us at bit.ly/more2motherhood group. Okay, I'll see you in there. Okay, we're going to read a review really quick because I love reading these, y'all. And if you are listening right now, I would love for you to read a review if you are getting any inspiration or hope or just feel good and this podcast is helping you in any way. So this 5-star review is from 2Leader21 titled Powerhouse Leader. I have never met anyone in social media more positive, outgoing than Kristen. The more I listen to Kristen, the more positive I become. I have only known her in the business she and I are involved in for a week, and I feel more encouraged and excited and happy to call her a friend and part of her team. Love you, Kristen. Oh my gosh, I love you and I know who you are, so thank you for leaving this review. You just made my day. Okay, and we are gonna dig in right now. Okay, so this topic of mom guilt that we reviewed last week, and then really just, I hope that first of all, y'all, that was really weighing on my heart, and I hope that that message and shedding light on that and knowing that you're not alone really helped you. Knowing that you just love those babies is the most important thing, right? But we also want to show them that how much we love them and how much they are loved, seen, heard, and that they matter to us. So today we're just going to be talking about some ideas and some things that I do that I really believe are just going to help you show them just a little bit more, but in short amounts of time, right? It just takes a little bit to shine that light on them, to make them feel special. And so we know that being a parent is the hardest, most challenging, yet rewarding job there is, right? And it's okay if you love what you do, but we also want to make sure we're loving on those babies since they are only babies for so long, right? You all know that I have 3 kids, right? 2, 5, and 11 at the time of this recording of this podcast. And so we have Riley baby, who is 2, Avery, who is 5, she's in kindergarten, and then Caleb, who is 11, he's in 5th grade. And so even those big mama's boys need their mama's love, right? They need to know that they're important. They may act too cool for school, right? But they need us, and they need us to show them this love and in this time so that they know that they matter to us, especially going into that middle school age. If y'all know what I'm talking about, middle school is rough, right? So we're going to talk about how we can make them feel loved, seen, and heard just in short snippets of our day. And so these are some fun tactical tips that I use that you can use also to show your kids how much they matter to you. And like I said before, this is simple activities to do with your kiddos. Some of them are 5 minutes, some are 10 to 15 minutes at a time. But that amount of undivided attention with those babies and those kiddos, even if they're not babies anymore, I tell my son all the time, he's 11, and I'm like, are you my baby? And he says yes every time, y'all, because I have conditioned him to say yes, because I'm like, you're always my baby. I don't care how old you are, right? So in our hearts, they're always our baby, regardless of how old they are. And so just this short amount of time and undivided one-on-one attention with each child. And I know you're thinking, holy cow, Kristen, I have 4 kids, 3 kids. I'm super, super busy, working full time. It's a rat race around here, right? And I feel you. But just taking that small amount of time one-on-one with each child, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, really goes a long way for them, and you will see a difference, right? So I am big, y'all know I'm big on schedules, and if you've listened to my podcast long enough, you know I talk about time blocking and how I time block everything and how I love to be super organized. So some of the things that I do, well, first of all, every single night, this is one easy way that you can get in your one-on-one time with your kiddos is bedtime. And I'm sure y'all have a bedtime routine, right? Where you read a story to the little one or you do something. So I take 10 to 15 minutes with my youngest because she goes to bed first. So she gets her time first if we're having a crazy day, especially when, I don't know about you guys, but after school, when you walk in, if you're working outside of the home and you walk in the door, sometimes you don't walk in until 6 o'clock at night, right? And then you're immediately going to make dinner and then, get the kids a bath and then get the kids teeth brushed and setting them up for bed, right? So, and tucking them in for bed and all that. So it just feels like go, 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 go constantly. But one of the ways that you can really get that one-on-one time in with them is right around their bedtime. So with the baby, Riley, we call her Riley baby, even though she's 2, and she'll always be the baby. She'll always be Riley baby, even when she's like 20. But what I do with her is I give her time first, and the other 2 know it. So you set up a schedule, and they know that on their bedtime, they get 10 to 15 minutes of time with you to do whatever they want. Pretty much. You can make it a story, or you can say the last 5 minutes is story time. You can break it up and kind of negotiate, but I like to give them a choice because it gives them a voice of what they want to do. Sometimes my 5-year-old chooses to study her flashcards, honestly. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do. But we try to read the last 5 minutes. So with my youngest, she gets her time first because she goes to bed first, and we snuggle. She calls it snuggle time. So there have been nights where I have, failed as a parent and not been able to give them their one-on-one time, and they know that. So that's super important to them. Once you start a routine, they're going to know that that's their time. Even my 2-year-old knows. So we have our snuggle time with my 2-year-old where we snuggle and we sit on the couch and we read a book sometimes, or we just snuggle and sit and we sing songs. If you're happy, and it is a big one right now with her. And then I tuck her in, I put her to bed, and then I move on to the next child. So then Avery gets her time, and we either she likes to play a board game. Chutes and Ladders is big right now with her, or she likes to practice her flashcards or read me some books that she, read at school that day. And so she gets her 10 to 15 minutes of time, and then I tuck her in for bed. And then my son, if y'all know, he's been having a really hard time. So he needs a little bit more mommy time than the other kids. And since he is the last to go to bed, he does tend to get more time. But then also sometimes, if I have a meeting for work, sometimes he's the first one that doesn't get his time, and I have to find another place to put his time slot. But he typically gets more of my time. We sit together and we watch one of his favorite TV shows. And I would say, and I'm taking a parenting class on this too, so I love sharing this, but they advise not to do electronics or TV if you can avoid it. So sometimes I have to negotiate a little bit and say, okay, well, today if we watch a show, then tomorrow we're going to play a board game or we're going to read for a bit. And sometimes we do partner reading where we'll take turns. So he tends to get 30 minutes, but he really needs that extra time. So that's how I fit it all in, and I schedule that one-on-one time for them at bed. And we're human, right? So there are times that, it might not happen, but for the most part, we get it done every single night because that is a priority. for the kiddos, and they know that's their time. On the weekends, I tend to have a little bit more one-on-one time with them. And the other thing I do before I get into what you can do on the weekends is check-in chats. So sometimes I'll just take a couple minutes to check in. With Riley, it's a little bit different. We just have a snuggle, because she doesn't talk a whole lot, but she likes to tell her opinion. With my son, though, sometimes I'll go into his room when he's doing something and just, take 5 minutes to talk to him one-on-one without the girls around. Because, if you have multiple children, you all know that they all interrupt each other. And I go in and I talk to him and I give him some one-on-one time. How was your day? We talk about things. And that's when I really see how his day really went. And if he had a good day or if he had a difficult day. And then I know a little bit of like how I can love on him to make sure that he knows that he is loved and feels important and significant in our family. And I do that with Avery as well. And then Riley, like I said, it's just an extra snuggle with the little one. But the other thing that you can do, because those check-in chats, are really nice and it takes like 5 minutes, you can give them a hug. The other thing we do is on the weekends, at least I play one game with each child. So with Riley, obviously the baby, that's going to look a little bit different, but Avery gets to pick a game. Sometimes my son will pick Battleship, a war, a card game, or something like that. We have one game time, one-on-one scheduled, and then they have their bedtime, one-on-one time. And then the other thing I'd like to share too is that sometimes I'm able to get in more one-on-one time than just twice a day on the weekends or even during the week, because one-on-one time can include anything, you guys, like anything at all. You can involve your child in cooking a meal with you. You can involve them in making a snack. You can have them prep their own lunch and snacks for the next day, and you can help them with that. Even sometimes like helping like one of your children with their chores, or like helping them with a couple things of picking up in their room, just so you have that one-on-one time with them. And not only that, you can take those times to teach them how you want them to do that chore as well. And so it becomes a teaching moment and you're instilling that responsibility. But then after that, you can be like, wow, like, I'm so proud of you. Aren't you proud of yourself? You did this all by yourself. You packed that snack all by yourself. You helped mommy make this dinner. Wow, you should feel so proud. Don't you feel proud of yourself? And instilling that pride in them as well, and asking them those types of questions. And so I'll help my kids sometimes with their chore, just so I can have a conversation with them or show them, how to do something, because sometimes we just take for granted that they should know how to do something, or they're not doing it our way. If we teach them how to do it the right way, then it's going to work out for everyone, right? So the other thing too is like reading a book, watching a TV show of their choice, going outside and playing with them. So if you take all the kids outside, and this is another way that you can just get in a couple minutes of time with each kid, and it really makes a big difference, is taking all the kids outside at once, but then, sometimes my son will like me to throw the ball back and forth with him. So for 5 minutes, I'll just play with him. And then Riley, the baby, will want me to push her on the swing. So I'll just push her on the swing for a couple of minutes and she gets that time with me. And then Avery will either want me to go on the trampoline with her or push her on the swing or just watch her do cartwheels in the yard. So it's going to look different, but those little moments where you don't have your phone on you and your phone is away and you're taking those just short minutes, 5 minutes at a time even, to play with each child outside, that makes a big impact in their day. And so kind of what I was sharing before, is those check-in chats is like, what I learned is like instilling confidence in them by sharing your pride, but then also asking them and getting them to recognize how proud they are of themselves or what they think of themselves or what makes them happy or that they felt confident doing something. Pointing that out and getting them to recognize that will help them, because I was a big time approval seeker. Even as an adult, I would like seek other people's approval or opinions. And I want my kids to be independent thinkers. And so if we start doing those kinds of things now, like instilling those thoughts into them and having them recognize their own skill sets and that they're proud of themselves and that they're doing this and that, they'll be less inclined to seek approval because they'll have the approval of themselves. So that might be a topic for another podcast, but I just wanted to share that because it's something that, like I said, I've been learning in my parenting classes. And I really find that important because I never thought of that. And I'm a big time approval seeker. It's taken me a long time to get out of that habit of like seeking others' approval. And sometimes I still, fall into that. I'm a people pleaser, and I want to make sure like I'm making everyone happy. And sometimes we just can't do that. But if we know in ourselves with our internal compass that we're doing the right thing and we're instilling that in our children, think about how amazing that will be for them as they grow into confident adults, right? If we start this young. And then the last thing that you can try to do is date nights or date days, whatever you want to call them, with your kids once a month. It can be free. It can be taking just one child. You can alternate parents, or you can get a babysitter, or you can do a swap with a friend where you swap and watch each other's kids, whatever the case may be. But going out one-on-one with each child once a month to the park or out to dinner or whatever you want to do, it can be free or it can be paid, or it can be a combination of both, whatever you're comfortable with that fits in your family's budget. But just going to the park for 30 minutes to an hour one-on-one with each child once a month will make a huge difference too, because that will give them your undivided attention. No phones. Remember, all of these activities are without your phone or without you doing something else. You're 100% focused on them. An hour out of your day once a month with each child will make a huge impact on how they feel about themselves and their relationship with you, and knowing that they're significant and that they matter and that they're seen and that they're heard and that you're having those conversations with them and that all the focus is on them, right? How nice is that? So I hope that these tips are helpful, and just know that it just can be in little snippets of your day. Start off with one of these tips in your day, and then try to implement another tip or another 15 minutes or another 5 minutes, and just try to start getting a schedule or getting in the routine of doing these check-in chats or these 15-minute one-on-one mini dates with your kids. And I think you'll find it will make a huge difference, and you'll feel amazing, not only about yourself being a rock star mama like you are, but also finding that you can take that time away from your business to have that time with your kiddos and be a rock star mom boss. You can have it all. You can do it all. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys back here on the show next week. Hey mama, real quick before you go, if this episode helped you in some way, or you got value or learned something new from today's episode, or you just feel more inspired right now, the number one way that you can thank me is to leave me a 5-star written review. That is the number one thing I ask for showing up for you guys each week, is a quick written review right over on the Apple Podcast app. I'd be so grateful. Thank you so much for being here. Just know that you can create the life of your dreams and turn your passion and purpose into your paycheck. Until next time, mama, don't forget, you are called for more.